What's up, family, and welcome back to the channel. Listen, I have 10 ways to elevate your dining room table. Now, I gotta make sure we're on the same page because this is not the place for your bologna sandwich. This is not the place for your ham and cheese. This is not the place for the spam with a little bit of mustard. This is not the place for the corned beef hash. This is the place with the smoked turkey, the fried turkey. This is the place where the turkey wing is gonna be. This is the place where the honey baked ham is gonna sit. This is the place where the conversation is going to be had. This is the place where kings and queens are gonna come and have great conversation with some sweet potato pie. This is the dining room, okay? This is different than any other house, than any other space. This is not the breakfast nook. This is not the kitchen island. This is the most precious room in your entire house. Are we here, okay? Now, because we're here, if the tips don't apply, don't argue with me. I don't have time for it. I don't play no games. If the tips don't apply, let it fly. Let's jump right into it. When we think about elevating the dining room, we gotta start with the architectural details. This is what's going to set your room from any other room in the entire house. I'm talking crown molding, I'm talking picture frame boxes, I'm talking built-ins, I'm talking wall treatments. Your architectural details is what's going to set the room apart. Now, let's look at this in three parts. Let's start with the walls. Are you gonna do some wainscoting? Are you gonna do some crown molding? Are you gonna do some picture frame boxes? By adding these architectural details, you don't have to do much because the room is already talking. We want when people come into this room, they feel elevated, okay? I wanna feel elevated with my little piece of pecan pie. I wanna feel elevated, come on. Well, I got hungry with a little honey baked ham. I wanna feel elevated in this space. So let's look at that first one, all right? Picture frame boxes, wainscoting, crown molding, or some built-ins. Now, I see the built-ins are making a comeback, and if you paint them, they will look great in that space, all right? Let's look at the fifth wall, which is another architectural detail you can do. Call for ceilings. Do you hear where I'm going? Just these little small trims, just these little small architectural details elevate this space, and it really not gonna cost you a whole bunch of money, but it's going to last you throughout the thick of time, all right? And so you don't have to keep changing this out every year from trend to trend. No, once you put this in your house, you set and you're good. And see, I'm trying to save you a couple of buckaroos. Now, these structures really going to add value to your house. So for those who say, well, I'm not gonna be in my house forever, this is actually good to do because this is going to raise the value in your house. These architectural details has a way of just upgrading it and you can get more out your house, all right? Let's go to number two, your furniture. When we think about your dining room, do you host a lot of people? Are you expecting a lot of people? Now, I know Thanksgiving and Christmas is the exception, okay? But I need to know on any given basis, are you hosting 4 to 6 people or is it 10 to 12? And here's why this is important. I want to make sure that the furniture don't swallow the room and I don't want the room to swallow the furniture, okay? So if you're more into the intimate and it's more of a small type of friend setting or a family setting, let's do a round table. Who said that your dining room table had to be a rectangle? It don't have to be, okay? We're fitting it to your needs because it needs to be beautiful. Also, it needs to be functional, all right? And so let's do a round table if that's fitting the needs that you're going for, all right? Now, if you said, Jeremy, I got a little big family or I like to host a lot, we're gonna look at a rectangular table, all right? A rectangular table says formal, it says statesman, it says craftsman, okay? It really elevates the space, especially for the amount of people that is coming, all right? So we wanna make sure that you have a rectangular table. Now, we can take it a step further. If you get a table that you can take the leaf out, all right, that you're able to shorten it when it needs to be short, you're able to extend it that needs to be extended, that's going to help you when people are coming over, and that way you can be able to accommodate the guests that are in your home, all right? So let's look at the furniture. Are we gonna go round or are we gonna go rectangle? Now, some people saying, well, what about square? What about square? What about square? You can do square, but the square is not going to give you that formal look that you're looking for. A square is more so for a breakfast nook. Not saying you can't do it, but I wanna be very clear. It's not what's gonna give you the look that you're looking for. You know, I got 4 eyes, so I see well, all right? So that's not gonna be it, all right? So look at either the circle or the rectangular table. All right, let's go to the next one. Lighting. Lighting is very important when we talk about the dining room. All right, we're not just talking about the chandelier. If you're going to do a chandelier, that's great, but we're not talking about that. Every time I talk about lighting, we talk about a 3-point lighting system. So that can be your focal point lighting, which I call your chandelier, or it can be wall sconces, or it can be a tall floor lamp. Either way, we want to add the lighting because the lighting is going to bring in the coziness, the warmth, especially if you're going with a dark color in the dining room. You want that lighting, all right? Also, if your dining room has a window, that's perfect because we're going to use that lighting to our advantage to light up the space. That way it's not too dark, okay, but it's still cozy enough that it's giving the feeling and the warmth that you're looking for. All right, so lighting, that means looking at your chandelier, adding some wall sconces to the built-ins if you can, do a floor lamp if you can. Now, you don't have to do the floor lamp if you don't want to because you can still use the natural lighting from the window to bring in that third lighting, okay? But if you don't have a window, then we may want to look at some other type of lights. That way your space can be well lit, all right? So lighting is very important. Don't sleep on it, all right? These things are important to elevating the space. Let's go to the next one. Rugs. Now, if you're going to do a rug in your dining room, which especially if you have wooden floors, you need to be doing that, all right? We need to make sure that the chairs and the table fit on the rug. If it's off of the rug, it ain't big enough, all right? If you pull out from the table and you see them chairs scraping the floor, it ain't big enough, all right? So if you're gonna have a rug to your table, you need to make sure it properly fit. That means you're gonna have to measure your space because the wrong rug, it's gonna make it look cheap. The wrong rug is gonna make it look like, oh, who did it and why? And why did you do that? Don't do that. Don't go cheap on these things because if you go cheap, you're gonna be replacing it. All right. If you go cheap, you're gonna have to buy it twice. Okay. I don't want you to do that. I want you to invest. So that means we're not gonna buy everything overnight. We're gonna buy everything over time. That way when we buy it, we only buy it once. So your rug is very important. We're not gonna do a plush rug here, okay? If you need help with the rugs, the type of rugs that you need for your dining room, I need you to look at the previous video because we're not gonna do a plush rug because that's gonna get dirty. People gonna be dropping food. That's not the way we wanna go, all right? So we wanna make sure we have a rug. Maybe it's gonna be an 8x10, 9x12. It depends on the size of your space, and make sure that all the chairs can fit on the rug. Nothing gonna be hanging off, okay? This is not like the living room. With the living room, you can have the couch hanging off the rug. In the dining room, it's not gonna go well. It's not gonna give you what you're looking for, all right? So let's not do that, all right? Let's go to the next. Chairs. Your chairs is an opportunity to make a bigger statement, okay? We're not just getting chairs because, oh, I like the color. No, we got to make sure that the chairs are making a statement, especially if your table is going to just be a nice, solid table. Your chairs has an opportunity to hit the runway, all right? So it needs to look good on the front, but the chairs also need to look good on the back. So before you select the chair, whether you're going to do chairs with arms, chairs without arms, make sure that it has a nice detail on the back. Play with the texture. So if you say, well, wood is a part of my theme, okay, look and see if you get some wood features on the back of the chairs. Really do the chairs justice. Your table do not have to match your chairs. They don't have to be matchy-matchy. This is an opportunity for your chairs to make a statement. Sometimes when we think about chairs, it's like an afterthought. Oh, I just need some chairs, or these chairs will work. No. I really want you to take time and use the chairs as your advantage to add texture to the space. So you may want to do some velvet chairs, okay? You may want to do some linen chairs. You may do some wooden chairs. Whichever chairs you decide to do, let it complement the space. Now, let's talk about it. Your chairs at your dining room table, especially if you have a rectangular table, they don't have to match with the end chairs, okay? We're gonna call those the captain seats, all right? The captain chairs, the mama and the daddy on the both ends, they can match. And the ones in the middle, they can match, but they all don't have to match. That's going to give you layer, that's going to give you dimension, and that's going to elevate your space. So they all don't have to match, all right? But the one that's on the end, they need to match. The ones that's in the middle, they need to match. Okay, so that's mom and daddy, okay, and that's brother and sister across from each other, all right? Especially at a rectangular table. Now, at the round table, they all need to match. I can't believe he said that. We already know that. Sense ain't common. At the round table, they all need to match. Amen? Amen. All right, let's go to the next one. Another way to elevate your space is a nice centerpiece. Now, I'm not talking about a rainforest. Hold on. I'm not talking about rainforest. We don't want to buy anything that when you buy, I got to look around it to be able to have a conversation with you. I got a stiff neck. Come on, I got a stiff neck, I got a crook in my neck because I had to reach around because you done got this big, large centerpiece that you done got from Ross because it was on sale for $5. I got to reach around and try to have a conversation. I don't want to do that. All right. If I got to do all that, that ain't it. All right. So I need to, first of all, fix my neck. Okay, move that centerpiece and get something that's nice. It makes a statement, but it's not taking over, okay? Because I don't want to have a takeover spirit, all right? So make sure, even if you want to do a nice bowl with some nice greenery, that's fine. There's a habit where back in the 80s and the 90s, we felt like we just had to have these large, big things to show that we got money, we done arrived. You don't need all of that on your dining room table, all right? And so since we're going in that direction, let me go ahead and clear this up. If you don't want to set your table all year, you don't have to do that. If that's you, I'm not going to argue with you, do what you do, but just know that you done set it, now and I got dusted, and now you're going to have to clean it again. But in the modern day era, you don't have to do that. Now, if that's how you was raised, that's your business. I'm not here to judge, but you don't have to do that. You can have a nice centerpiece, okay? If you want to just put just the chargers, that's how my grandma was. She was like, oh, baby, I've got to put some on this table because it looked too bad. Go for what you know, but I'm going to show you some other things you can do besides setting the entire table at one time. Check this out. See, look at this picture. It's clean, it has a nice floral plant on it, but it's not too busy and it still allows the room to speak without saying too much, all right? So your dining room table don't have to be filled with everything. If you want to do a whole set, that's your business. Go for what you know, but you don't have to do that, all right? Let's go to the next one, doors. Now, for those who say, well, I have doors to my dining room table, that's great. I have doors to my dining room. That's great for those who don't have doors, because I don't have doors on mine yet. And so we're looking at getting some glass doors. That right there, that's nice. Now, if you ain't gonna keep it clean, don't even worry about it. Just keep it open. But if you want that privacy, you want that warmth. If you want that, okay, we're here. Especially if you have an open concept, because when it's open, it's like everything is everywhere. You can add you some doors. Okay, you could do French doors, you could do some glass doors. Check those things out. That really helps the room to be elevated, especially if you're in an open concept. Adding doors really is a game changer, all right? So if you don't have to do them white, you can get a color to them, or you could do glass. There's gonna be a lot of cleaning, but it looks great if that's the look that you're going for. So don't forsake the doors, all right? You say, well, Jeremy, I already got doors to my dining room. Okay, change out the handles. See, it's about the details. Change out the handles so that everything is working together nicely. All right, let's go to the next. Let's talk about texture. Now, there's a few different ways you can add texture to the space. And like I told you, adding texture elevates the space. You could do, we talked about it earlier, you could do it with your chairs. All right, you can also do it with your rug. Okay, you could do it with the little decor pieces that you put in your built-ins if you're going with the built-ins. That adds texture to the room, but it also helps the room to be balanced and it gives that home feeling that you're looking for. So if you add some coffee table books to your built-ins, that looks great as well. So don't be afraid of texture. You could do it with the vase that's on top of your dining room table. That looks great. Don't miss opportunities for texture. So what is texture? Wood, ceramic, marble, metal, silver. Those are different texture elements you can add to your space, all right? So don't forget that. Here is the next one. Elevating your space with proper, here's the next one. Elevating your space with proper silverware. Now, we gotta make sure that if you're gonna do gold right now. Don't have a 10,000 different shades of gold, right? If you're gonna do brush gold, antique gold, whatever gold you're gonna do, yellow gold, do it right now, because we don't want to do the mix and match. We don't want it to look gaudy, because it can go gaudy really quick, all right? So that way, when you're putting it out, it really elevates the space. I don't want you to do all this to your dining room, and you handing people paper plates, and then you handing people them red Dixie cups. Don't do that. Don't do that. Say that for the backyard. Say that for outdoor barbecue. Don't do that to your space. Make sure you invest into some dinnerware. Make sure you invest in some nice plates, some nice bowls, some nice wine glasses, some nice water goblets. Invest, okay? And be able to put those things at the bottom of your cabinets or your built-ins, so that way it's right there in the space. Don't have stuff everywhere. People go get that cup out the attic. That's too much, okay? So we want to make sure that this stuff is easily accessible, but it also matches the space, all right? Here is the last one, some greenery. Whether you decide to do greenery on your dining room table, or you want to put a nice tree in your dining room. If you have the space, go for it. But Greenery will always help your room to say custom, say luxury, and to say rich. Now, you don't have to do the tree. You can add some greenery in your built-ins if that's the direction that you're going. Don't be afraid of it. That helps the room to be balanced. It says warmth, it says home, it says cozy, and it says inviting, all right? So those are 10 ways that you can elevate your dining room space. Don't be afraid of it. You don't have to do every tip right now. You can review this video and you can go back and watch it and do one by one. But I believe over time, it's gonna look exactly how you want. Now, I wanna hear from you. Which one of these you gonna follow? Which one of these you like, well, Jeremy, I'm gonna try, but not right now. Which one of these that you like the most? I wanna know, because I wanna make sure that you're picking up on what I'm putting down, all right? And if you need me to go over any one in great detail, let me know in the comment section, okay? Because I'm here for you, and y'all know I read them comments, all right? Until the next video, have a good one. Bye-bye.